Dutch, I swear to God, that e-girl is a trap, alright?
You know, Meg, I understand you having issues in school, but if you weren't so damn ugly,
Wait.
maybe make some friends. Who the fuck
You're
is
not-
this?
you're not
Get the
Dutch.
hell out of my house!
Who the hell are
man.
you?
Jesse, I'm the Knockers, or whatever.
Who the hell are you?
Why are there two people
Where?
outside of my home?
Jesse, where'd the meth go?
What'd you do with Dutch?
You guys aren't here to collect my funds, right? You aren't the tax people.
Jesse, where's the
You
money?
look like one.
Jesse,
I'm here for
where'd the
money.
money go?
Money.
Look, guys, I don't know what you want with me. If you want to rob me, just make it clear. Put on a mask or something.
I don't got a mask.
That's good to know.
You know who I am.
No, I don't.
Apparently he's the knocker.
Who are you? You're the knocker. This is the knocker. You didn't even knock. You just walked in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Character Mockery Podcast.
Who the fuck
That
are
was a
you?
grand butchery of Arthur Morgan, Peter Griffin, and Walter White.
What do you mean? You're not gonna butcher me, are you? Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, all the walls are cardboard. Oh, I'm cardboard.
What?
What?
Cardboard?
I don't know. I just pushed that guy over. He looked a lot like Peter Griffin, though.
What is this, jazz punk?
There's a bunch of cardboard cutouts on the ground. I don't understand what happened.
Physical comedy.
Slapstick. My favorite.
I'll slap your stick.
What the fuck?
Alright.
So
So,
speaking of cardboard, you make signs out of cardboard, all right?
Yeah.
So let's imagine there's a sign, all right? And it says, "We out pizza everyone." Is that sign a slogan, or a notice, or an open challenge to Pizza Hut's domination of the pizza sport?
I don't know, but if I
So-
do know something, we didn't even say the name of the podcast. Welcome to Character Mockery. I'm Character.
No, he definitely did.
I definitely did. Trevor, did you take your dementia pills?
Trevor's getting the demeanor. He was too busy in the thick of it of being Peter Griffin. He's literally in the thick of it. Look at him.
He was too deep in Peter Griffin's mindset to remember anything. So, is the sign a slogan, a notice, or an open challenge?
At first, I believed it to be a notice.
And now?
I believe it's just a threat
Is the
to
pizza
Hut.
stuffed crust? If it is, it's a challenge.
Oh, damn.
Okay, to put context, this was outside of a Domino's. Alright? So already you know it's horrible. It's like worse than Pizza Hut.
We out pizza everybody.
Everyone.
Everyone.
No, it was everybody.
It was
Oh,
everybody.
I abbreviate.
I don't think it really
it was-
changes it, to be
It was,
fair.
quote, we out pizza everybody.
Okay, kerning is the spacing of words from one another.
See,
Were they spaced out, or were they in a sort of
They were-
central paragraph? Like
okay, so you know
line?
those like
Orientation.
dot matrix light billboards that
No,
people have underneath like restaurant signs?
kind of.
Yes.
Where- Anyway,
I have been outside before.
basically it was two lines and it literally just said we out pizza everybody. So two
Well,
lines.
unless they're fucking full.
So that's why at first I was like,
They're out of
does
pizza.
that mean they're out of pizza? And then I was like, oh, I see. They're trying to clap back to Pizza Hut, which they have no clout for.
It comes down to the kerning, dude. If it's all like one block, then I mean they out pizza everybody. It's a statement that their pizza is better than everyone.
No, I mean, to be fair, there was no comma.
Hear me out.
It could be assumed.
I think it's a sign that the people in the Domino's are either dyslexic or stoned.
I mean,
It's a Domino's, dude.
where I
They
was
need
at the
something
time,
to go.
I was kind of betting on the latter. I mean, versus a stairwell. I'm sorry.
No, that was pretty perfect. We're keeping that.
This is going
that's-
downstairs.
That's
I don't don't like stairs.
They're
always up to something.
And they're looking down on me. Okay.
So the consensus is that the employees are incompetent, not that it's a slogan or a notice.
In that specific situation, yes.
Yes. I believe so.
Okay, but let's pretend it's binary and you have to pick one. Multiple choice question, there's only 2 options, slogan or notice. What are y'all locking in?
It's gonna be more of a slogan, honestly. People just don't put that up there. Like,
That's
we out pizza, everybody. Like, from what I understand, the majority of the population is not dyslexic.
I mean...
Yet.
Yet.
The education system could still get worse.
True. I don't know.
In
our current year.
In current year.
No.
No. Okay.
It's a slogan.
Slogan.
I like to think of it as a notice.
It's a threat.
No.
We out pizza. Everybody pulls out gun.
No, I like to think of it as a notice. Just like, how do we let people know that we're closed? We out pizza, everybody.
You know, the funny open and close sign that you can flip?
Yeah.
Like, those exist.
Well, yeah, but they don't have one.
Well, again, it goes back. They're probably stoned out of their balls, dude.
Well, yeah.
They're just like,
But that's beside the point.
Wouldn't it be funny if I, like, put that we're out pizza? Everybody.
I'm going to assume it's a slogan and they just ran out of letters, so they couldn't make it more clear. Which happens a lot with those kinds of things.
Works.
Fair.
I mean, it was, like, one of the smaller, like, sign things that you can customize.
Right.
So, that might be the case that they just ran out of space to put more.
Yeah.
They should just get more letters. How hard is it to get letters?
Well, it's not actual letters. It was, like, lights.
I don't know. You gotta
Like the
go
one
through
that
the
you can
post
program.
office. It's
What's the next topic?
All
I
right.
think we've exhausted this one, right?
This one has definitely been behind a bus for a while. Just
Okay.
don't run in front of the bus or you'll get tired.
You'll get tired. But right now, it's
All right,
exhausting.
next topic.
All right. Spence, you wanted to talk about how technology equals wizardry?
Okay, so picture this. It is high fantasy time. You have a wizard in a tower conjuring...
The Messiah.
No. Conjuring arcana and spells, writing into his book, his compendium.
The
His-
flesh is weak, but the metal is
his
strong.
his grand designs of weaving the tapestry of magic and aura. And then we go to modern day. You have people working on technology, soldering irons, chipboards, breadboards, Arduinos, IP, internet. Like, I honestly think that people who work on tech like that are modern day wizards, because a majority of people don't understand what the hell electricity is and how to work with it, and internet.
Counterpoint. Okay? Hear me out. A lot of people nowadays, I'd say at least more than in the past 50 years, don't understand a lot of the trades, like plumbing or electrical, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our current generation is growing up in a generation that has so much technology infused into it that it's way easier to learn how to mess with things like computers and electronics than it is with the basics, like home function and upkeep, or perhaps working on a car, or, you know, more practical work. The coin could be flipped for, say, a Gen Z brain rot kid to look at, like, a plumbing system and be like, what the Sigma is this? I don't understand what's going on. And then dad, like, taps on a couple pipes and, you know, tightens down a bolt, and then all of a sudden it's all good.
Speaking from experience?
No.
What, you know plumbing?
No!
Okay.
Did I... Exactly!
So you're speaking from experience?
No!
Okay, so
Spence,
Spence,
Yes.
your point is that people who work with unfathomable electrical units operate on a level far beyond our comprehension, the way magicians would back in the day. And Trevor, your point is that people who work with internet and with things like electricity are more like old-timey blacksmiths than they are old-timey wizards, because it's a profession people vaguely understand, and we understand less of like what's real and physical than what exists on computer boards.
Yes.
Okay. Counterpoint.
This is a triangle.
This is a triangle. I'm about to make a point that counters both.
Okay.
People have always specialized, and you could equate any specialization to one another based on how far you shift any given point of view.
It's pretty subjective.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like this, right? Like, if you picture the most basic human settlement, there was probably a storyteller who was too old to do any of the hunting or gathering, right? You could call him a wizard. You could call him the computer guy, because essentially he's the tribe's streaming service, right?
Yes.
Once you shift the point of view to any point in history, you
Bro, you
can't...
down for some Netflix and chill?
Oh, no! Oh, Grandpa turned around real fast.
Are you still watching? Oh, dear Lord!
Oh, great heavens!
The kids these days, they just don't want to hear the old stories.
They want to look at Among Us pin-up strips.
Quick, chisel out the dummy thick Among Us.
We need more rainbow pop-outs.
Anyway.
I guess it's like this, right? Like, any point in time where something is mysterious, you could equate it to magic. There's a
Wizardry.
quote. I think it's by Terry Pratchett, but it might be by any number of very smart people. And it's, any sufficiently advanced technology is unrecognizable from magic.
I think I know exactly which quote you're talking about. Yeah. The main reason that this came around was I was working on a like late 80s radio. I had to replace one of the capacitors for it, and attempting to discern and decode the layout of the electrical system of it, which thankfully I was able to find a like blueprint of it. I was like, what fucking sorcery is this?
I mean, to be fair, it's probably got a bunch of proprietary garbage in it.
It really didn't. Like,
really?
Tech back then was easily fixable. Like, all I had to do...
It's easily fixable. Why didn't you fix it?
I did. I bought a soldering iron and a capacitor to replace
he got me
it.
like that.
He really did you dirty like that. Why didn't you fix it? He fucking did!
And now it works.
I'm gonna go to Guantanamo Bay.
Anyway, but yeah, that's how this first came up. It's like, it really, it's weird now because nowadays how smart everything is. Like, if you had a peasant from back then to nowadays, and you had them inside of like a smart home, where you literally just commanded the lights to turn on. You command the TV with a little plastic box.
I don't know. I just go back in time and give a peasant a Benjamin and be like, go crazy. Slay queen.
Like,
a Benjamin?
Benjamin.
a Benjamin, a vape.
Oh.
They call vapes Benjamins.
Give him a Benjamin and a bag of those, like, lime fiery Cheetos, and then watch his brain melt out of his ear.
No. What you need is the Cheetos.
Put in the earbuds and make him listen to Promiscuous. His mind would literally erupt.
But...
Okay. What is your obsession with, like, brain-rotting medieval peasants, Trevor? You've brought this up, like, 5 episodes running.
It's just funny. The concept is funny.
Like, anything that we would take back to an old-time peasant would probably kill them.
I don't know if it'd kill them, but it would look a lot like magic. I guess, do you think in, like, 500 years, people who brought back their stuff to us would be able to melt our brains in the same way? Or do you think we've reached kind of a plateau with technology?
Not plateau, but technology has advanced so exponentially. If we heard that there was some sort of weird-ass technology that they have 500 years from now, it's like, I would honestly be like, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, that sounds about right.
Let's go, 500 years forward in the future. Let's say, I'm not making any promises, but it's just a wild guess. Let's say, Neuralink becomes so advanced, everyone has one in their head, and you can just touch it and just enter any reality you want, and you can leave it at any time.
Okay.
That would make sense.
That would probably melt our fucking minds. Straight
Not really.
up.
I would be alright with it. It's like, that makes sense.
It's not VR. I played in VR. I'm talking literally your mind picturing everything the Neuralink is feeding it.
Okay, keep in mind.
Indiscernible from reality.
Technology from the mid to ye olden times, 500 years prior or after, for the most part, remained unchanged. Compared to nowadays, where, within the past 200 years, within, 60 years, they went from flying the first plane to leaving the atmosphere within 65 years versus almost 1,000 years of people still using horses and carts.
I mean...
Now we have Skibbity Toilet.
So there's a big discrepancy there, because a lot of people like to picture the jump in technology as this exponential increase in, human intelligence and ingenuity. But actually, it was more like a huge increase of resources and availability of information, which over time created a situation where we could have so much technological advancement.
Well, that's fair, and I don't mean we got big brained for a few years. What I'm talking about is just compared to what we were at, which just a plane that kind of slowly, continually, gradually goes up. And then within the past 200 years, goes exponentially compared to what we were at beforehand.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Is within the past 200 years, technology has gone so advanced compared to what it used to be. I wouldn't be surprised in 500 years if we had perfect Neuralink bullshit that we were able to go to different dimensions. Honestly, that feels like it'd be par for the course.
I never want people to have Neuralinks.
I kind of agree with that.
I agree.
But anyone who could play God with their own mind would, A, be the most unproductive member of society imaginable.
The amount of sin you could produce. Imagine how many gooners would be activated. Honestly, the amount of progeny childs that would be exposed to one session of Neuralink with whatever they want with no restriction would turn into insta-gooners.
What? No. Alright, never mind.
Just stuck in the Goonerverse.
Alright.
The future is Skynet.
Skynet.
Oh my god, it's predicted. Why did Moist Critical predict the future?
Okay, well...
If Spotify's around for 500 years, we need to call back to this.
Listen, guys, I could take it or leave it. Personally, I think technology is probably going to stagnate a lot. So if technology is greatly improved in 500 years, I might be a little surprised, but I don't think I'd have the same level of having a hard time comprehending it as a medieval peasant would with AirPods, for instance. Because I have some precedent. All of us have some precedent for what technology is capable of. So whatever comes after this is something that's going to be a lot less shocking than someone who came before this moment in history. It's just my thought. Technology equaling wizardry is always a fun concept, though. That's a big twist in a lot of fantasy sci-fi stories, is plot twist. The magic was science the whole time.
Science! But
All right. Sorry, Spence, I didn't mean to take over at the end there.
No, it's good. You wrapped it up pretty good.
Is there anything you'd like to add before we move on to Trev's topic?
Nope.
All right. Trev, you said it was generic, a bit stale. Maybe the game's already dead by now when this episode airs. But you wanted to talk about something that's taking the internet by storm, about something with video game characters, which is surpassing Overwatch on Rule34.com somehow.
Wait.
Oddly
as
specific.
well as concurrent players on Steam.
Hold up. Before you go, back that up.
Oh, yeah. For the first time in several years, there are some video game characters that are trending higher on Rule 34. And
Then Overwatch?
Yep. And they are the female characters.
Marvel Rivals will be the nail in the coffin for Overwatch 2. Guaranteed.
You know, that's not too difficult to believe. Like, it was all but missing that one last nail.
I'm sorry, but a fresh take on the hero shooter genre from a franchise that is actually supported for once. Just, how many hero shooters have we seen in the past few years that have, like, kind of been there but not really had enough of a following to generate a good base?
I think the main problem with most hero shooters, other than Overwatch, is the characters' abilities aren't varied enough.
Mm-hmm. Or they're like Rainbow Six Siege, where it's like not really a hero shooter.
I feel like Rainbow Six Siege falls under the like high tactics FPS category more so than hero shooter.
Yeah.
But you could make the case for it, and I wouldn't dispute
but-
it.
Would you consider Smite a hero shooter?
Smite's a MOBA,
MOBA? Okay.
which is a different genre. Hero shooters take some MOBA elements, but the biggest difference is the minions and the resource management. The idea behind a hero shooter is you don't have to unlock any of the abilities, and it usually uses a character with like ranged abilities in the first person or Fortnite style in the third.
Okay.
Yeah, not that isometric view from the top angle kind of.
So,
But with a wide cast of characters and new functions like team up abilities, I mean,
that's
it's a
actually
nice
really
fresh
cool.
take on a genre that has one big game that's already kind of dead.
Yeah, I mean, Overwatch is the greatest example of tripping over your own ideas into a puddle of radioactive ooze and then melting.
It just makes me really sad because Overwatch is a bundle of unique, cool ideas that, like, when it came out in 2017, it was
Overwatch
like
so promising.
it was just so cool,
It
right?
was.
Yeah,
We hadn't seen anything like it.
it had a lot of staying power, but it just kind of got squandered by the
It got
suits
petered
of
out.
Blizzard.
Yeah, by a bunch of like suits.
Yeah.
All the balancing and taking abilities away,
But
adding new.
at least we have a new option now, and that option is very promising.
Yeah. I mean, Marvel characters are more iconic than Overwatch characters, kind of by default.
That, and there's a lot more effort just baked into it. You've already played Marvel Rivals with me. Tommy, you haven't yet.
I've seen some gameplay.
You know, every time you load into a map, there's a fully fleshed out, like, comic book cutscene that you see?
That's
And they're,
cool.
like, really
There's
well
like,
made, too.
There is like a mini story of how you get to this place, and you get a cutscene that matches that, either if you win or lose. So there's a winning cutscene and a losing cutscene.
And they're not just like, here, capture this point and cover this payload. I mean, those are the objectives in the game, but they follow, like, story beats on their own. So it kind of feels like you're doing a mission that your characters you're playing, albeit mixed cast, would maybe do.
Isn't that the same with the Overwatch payload, though?
Kind of.
I mean, there's like the mission where you have to escort Maximilian. I think it's in Hollywood.
True.
And,
Or the
like-
payload of gold through Junkertown.
Yeah, like there are several payloads that have like story elements in Overwatch.
I just think they're way more fleshed out in Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, I mean, it's much easier to do with Marvel characters because there's a lot of canon, and Overwatch never bothered really writing much canon.
I mean, to be fair, you can play as heroes and villains. Like, Iron Man and Venom can be on the same team. Magneto and Thor can be on the same team.
Now,
Dude, that
the
would be
Meg-
such a cool mode in the game, though. Like a heroes versus villains mode.
I mean, you depending on what you're trying to do, you can kind of make that happen.
Well, I mean, like, I don't mean like everyone in the team picks a specific character. I mean, like,
A mode where it's heroes versus villains.
yeah,
so
like the
you're-
options are
you can
locked.
queue up for heroes or villains, and then
Yeah, it's
you enter
like,
a queue as like, all right, this team's villains, this team's heroes.
not
you
for
queued
comp, but like for
Just
a
a
team
fun-
match, like like a quick play, like kind of thing. It'd be cool.
Be neat. I don't know. They don't have a whole lot of like extra content right now, like specialty game modes.
To
they
be
just
fair,
have.
it did just come out.
I'm not saying they need it. It's simply just like they don't have that kind of extra stuff yet, but that would be pretty cool.
For sure.
Like, that's definitely on the horizon right now. Like, to be fair, it starts off with how many heroes? Like, somewhere in
33?
30 and 33. It starts with 33 heroes.
How many of them are support, tanks, DPS?
Now,
So
Is
it
there a
follows
lot of
a
role?
there's not a fourth role, and it goes Vanguard, Assault, Strategist. And there's a heavy weight on the damage roll, the Assault roll. I think there's like 20 heroes in that role, and then there's like, I think there's 8 Vanguards or tanks, and then the rest are supports.
Which is like another 7, maybe 8 support.
Yeah. So it's weighted
it is-
heavily towards damage, but the damage is pretty balanced out.
Okay.
So there's not really, and the tanks and the supports are also pretty well balanced out. So there's no real super meta pick. And again, I haven't read into the comp scene exactly. I'm sure there's better picks or worse picks. That's just how it's going to be with a game that varied.
I mean, the meta's nowhere near solved right now, so maybe there's a bunch of really busted things, but people
Right now,
haven't
it's definitely
discovered
mixed up, and that's awesome.
But that's honestly the best part about it.
Do you think
Is
the game has like a month before like the competitiveness and like all the sweaties make it less fun?
No, I think we got to wait till at least a few months. We need to get into like comp season 2 or 3.
I mean, to be fair, the few games that we did play, there was one that we got absolutely stomped on.
yeah, but keep in
and-
mind we were on a winning streak until then. That's just how it
No,
balances.
that was like the second game we played.
we were on a
we
winning
got-
streak. We won the first game.
That's not saying much.
Fair enough.
But anyway,
Um,
I'm looking forward to it. It's a good game.
You know what's nice? You know what's refreshing after playing Overwatch for all these years? Finally getting into a game where you press the start match button and you get into a match within 5 seconds.
5 seconds. It's like almost immediate.
It's like pressing start in a single player game. You know how long I queued in Overwatch comp for? I queued up for tank and support. It took me 12 minutes to find a
For
match.
tank and support.
For both tank and support.
Yikes.
Yikers.
Solo queue,
Those
by the
are
way. Like,
those are usually like
like,
the
I
easiest
wasn't-
to get into.
with
Yeah.
other party members. That was alone.
That's yikers. But then again, Overwatch 2 has like no players at the moment.
Well, yeah, they're all playing Marvel
There-
Rivals
well,
Lamau.
You looked this up earlier, didn't you? Say it was like 100,000 consecutive players.
Yeah, the numbers on a basic Google search, and this is just now, was like Marvel Rivals had 10 million players, and
Overwatch had like 20,000.
it had 163,000.
Wow.
The
Yikes.
20,000 now. No, I'm kidding.
the concurrent players at one point was measured really low. I don't know. I think Overwatch probably has a bit more staying power than we're giving credit. And maybe the competition will make Overwatch 2 sort of course correct, but they really burned the fan base by promising a story mode and then canceling it. And by
They dropped the ball. So
and then they
so
just
hard.
re-released Overwatch with 2 and new, slightly different flavor.
Watch, bro. We're
Yeah.
gonna get Overwatch 3 before GTA 6.
Now the thing is, they I don't know if it's going to be completely abandoned. Like, the best way I can imagine it is like, what's it? TF2, Team Fortress 2.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Overwatch doesn't have the same dev base as TF2 did.
well, that and TF2 still got a huge fan base. Like
I
people
know,
still
but the
play.
thing is,
Massive, dude.
it's because of how good their devs were. So the thing is, basically what I'm trying to say is, I don't believe that Overwatch is going to die. It's going to have a dedicated fan base, but it's not going to be nearly as big as something like TF2 or this new Marvel Rivals.
I just see it rotting and dying away.
I mean,
TF2 is held together because it's made by a loved company that clearly cares about their fan base, albeit doesn't put out that much stuff anymore. It's still like there's enough goodwill behind that game for people to support it. With the way it's made itself into different like various medias and such, like
Whereas
TF2 isn't going to be
Overwatch-
let go, right? Not for a while. And even if the game shuts down, people are still going to be using the same SFM models for like all their funny shit posts and stuff, right?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
at the very least.
Which those models will be used for porn still. For Overwatch.
Unfortunately.
I mean, the Overwatch ones, yes. But I mean, good job, Blizzard. Your porn will be remembered.
If anything, that's what you're going to be remembered for. Kind of like BioShock.
You've left an imprint on a few 100,000 Gooner teenagers, I guess.
You left your mark in their browser
Overwatch
history.
at its peak had millions of players.
It did. So you're saying there's millions of Gooners now?
I mean, probably billions if we're being honest, bud. Anywhere with an internet connection has people looking up porn.
Oh my Sigma.
So wait, that Amazon tribe that they gave Starlink to that got addicted
They're
to porn.
beating off to May right now. Oh my god.
All right, guys. So I wanted to ask all of you what your favorite dragon depictions are, and then I want to ask everyone what your favorite dragon fights in video games are. Because I like talking about dragons.
Favorite dragon depiction?
Yeah, in anything.
My favorite depiction is me dragging these nuts across your face.
Cool. Could you actually answer the question?
Yeah. So I just had to get that out, man. It's there.
I know you had to get your nuts out, Trevor.
Like, I
Now
had...
put them back.
I was drawing back the fucking drawstring, and I was aiming, and I was a little bit off the target, and you just gently caressed my fingers and nudged me towards the bullseye.
So what you're saying is he edged you?
No, I nudged him. That's a different...
No, I was
fetish.
dragging my nuts across his face.
All right, Trevor, go ahead.
Okay, my favorite depiction of dragons are the intelligent and cunning kind with 2 arms. Fight me on that. I know there's depictions of 4-legged ones, 6-legged ones even, no-legged ones. The coolest ones are the armed and 2-legged ones.
I guess, like, in what?
In what, exactly?
In a myth, in a show, in a book?
Like the Dark Souls ones.
Oh, the Dark Souls dragons are your favorite? They
just feel so fucking ancient and, like, cool. They all carry that sort of level of mystique to them. And, like, the Elden Ring one... Dude, Placiduous Sax is one of the coolest dragons ever.
That's fair.
I know he's all ripped up and eaten and stuff, but that adds to him. Like, when you get into the boss fight arena... By the way, this ties into the second point. Favorite depiction of, like, dragon fights. The Placiduous Sax fight. It's so cool. You're going into the stormy coliseum that's flying at the end of time. And you've got this dragon all coiled up and it's beaten old wings from centuries of fighting. And it's got, like, all these epic, like, moves and stuff. Like, he's moving with the wind and he can shoot holy fucking laser beams of death at you.
So your favorite dragon fight is also your favorite dragon depiction. And both are Elden Ring.
Yeah, and, like, the Dark Souls series as a whole.
That's fair.
They don't vary too much.
I mean, Seath the Scaleless and, like...
Seath is really fucking cool.
Cool. Alright.
That plays into the cunning sense because Seath betrayed the first...
This is what editing's for.
Lord of Cinder.
Were you going to continue your point?
No.
Okay, so he betrayed the Lord of Cinder.
Also his kind. I mean, he double betrayed everyone. That's why he's stuck in the cave.
Okay.
Or, well, in his small crystal cave inside of that keep. The Wax Library, remember, bro?
No, I never played Dark Souls.
This is not Skibbity.
Okay. I respect that pick. I agree with that. I think something about FromSoft Dragons that's really cool is, like, Japanese myths don't get depicted in video games there as often as, like, Western ones. But Western ones are always kind of twisted the way we would look at, like, Greek or Japanese mythology.
They're always a bastardization of another sort of culture.
That's right. We're as fascinating to, like, Japanese game devs as the Greeks are to, like, American game devs. So it's interesting to see the kind of, like, Western dragons mythologized twice over to create these, like, weird eldritch-looking abominations.
Right.
And that gives them a very unique charm and mystique that you don't really get from any American story writer.
No.
And it's really cool. I do have to say, FromSoft games do have some of the best dragons. But also, they are kind of almost the furthest from what dragons are. Is it the Gaping Maw or the Maw
the
Dragon?
Gaping Dragon? The one with the teeth. It looks like a toothy vagina, okay?
Yeah,
That's what it looks like.
That's like, it barely qualifies, but it qualifies.
It's technically a dragon, but it's like, I don't know about that one, right? I like the more classic dragons in the sense, but like with the FromSoft take. Because the Gaping Dragon doesn't feel like a dragon, dude.
So you like them classic, but mysterious enough that you don't know what they're doing, even though you know what they are.
Yes.
Okay. That's really neat.
They've also got plenty of classic depictions, like Grand Sax and Lanciax. You know, Grand Sax attacking the original city under the Erd Tree and then being turned to stone.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
Also, that dragon is absolutely massive. He's like a quarter of the size of the Erd Tree, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you know how you can see the Erd Tree from across the whole map?
Mm-hmm.
That should put that into scale.
I did play Elden Ring. I'm not that
It's also been a while. I'd like to let everyone know it's been a while since I've played either Dark Souls or Elden Ring, so take it with a bit of grain of salt, because I don't exactly remember all the Seath lore.
That's fair.
I know he betrayed his own kin, and I'm pretty sure he betrayed the first Lord of Cinder.
Listen, most people who've played the game don't know all the lore. Spence, what's your favorite dragon, and what's your favorite dragon fight?
Okay, so dragon versus dragon fight. So my favorite dragon, it would be a toss-up between Ugin from Magic the Gathering.
Oh shit! I didn't even think of that.
Or
Nico Bolas?
No.
That was such a distasteful nose. Like, ew, no.
Or
brother, ew.
Or Parthenax.
Okay, those are both fascinating. But just to tell you, Trevor, Nico Bolas is a long-standing villain in Magic, and he a hoe. Ugin,
he is a hoe. I'm not saying he's a good dude.
Ugin, on the other hand, is like just like the vibes from Ugin are
he is the ultimate Zen master. I mean, there's a reason why he can chill on the Blind Eternities. He's just that chill.
Yeah. So Ugin doesn't get any cool points. Nico Bolas doesn't get any of the cool points. Nico Bolas is just
the most
Ugin
generic
does.
asshole dragon ever. It's like hell-bent on world domination.
I wouldn't call him generic exactly, but he is like an uber powerful
in
schemer,
intentions for sure.
He's Thanos, but a dragon.
Thanos dragon. That's never leaving my head now.
Yeah. However, Ugin is like cool
Ugin
and
is
epic
like
and feels kind of more original.
Chill dragon.
He's the step uncle that smokes way too much weed on the couch and provides Gandhi quotes.
And then there's Parthenax, best doggo of Skyrim.
The dog.
Okay,
dog.
So the thing is, my reason behind this is, if he was depicted as an actual dragon, like, he would be the best. But the thing is, he's still technically a wyvern. And I know we
had a podcast episode on this. We had a podcast episode.
But the thing is, he would be better if he had 4 limbs plus wings.
All right. Well.
However, Ugin has 4 limbs plus wings. So, I would say technically my favorite is Ugin. Now, best dragon fight? Sorry.
He's got to interject.
I do have to interject.
He has to interject.
Number 1, for those of you who haven't listened to the Fantasy Misconceptions episode, dragons, not a biological classification. They can have any number of limbs and still be a dragon. Wings or no. Optional locations or no. There's no definition.
Wyverns also follow in the same suit. They can be whatever.
They can be whatever.
We're talking about fictitious depictions.
There are some wyvern depictions out there where they have wings and no legs of any kind. Mm-hmm. Anywho.
Those could technically be caudals.
I really would love to hear a argument between Ugin and Parthenax about some like ancient philosophical concept.
Their argument with literally them being in chairs with cups of tea each by the fireplace, talking about philosophical quandaries.
I think you should pull the lever. Listen, the death of 5 people can never cost the death of a person. I personally believe that you should never interject into destiny like that. If the trolley was destined to hit those 5 people, then it was destined to. And you pulling the lever could pull something out of balance.
Come on, Ugin, my Uji, hit this Benjamin. I got the quirky cotton candy flavor.
Anyway, back to
dragon fight.
I mean, I agree that they are technically like high fantasy, there's no real definition between dragons. It's just I would think that they would look better with 4 limbs and wings.
I agree.
But that's just personal preference because I like that kind of design of a dragon.
Agreed.
Now, best dragon fight? I would think that the best battle I've seen between 2 dragons is the... So here, I'm going to throw one out for you. Hydronoid versus Draconoid from Bakugan Battle Brawlers.
Yo! The nostalgia hits so hard.
Fucking... Dude, Dan's Dragonoid versus Masquerade's Hydronoid. And are we talking about, like... Didn't he have the 3 heads at this point in time?
No, well, keep in mind, it continuously progresses through Bakugan Battle Brawlers. Eventually, Draconoid gets... other forms. I think like it goes super ultra, and he gets a bunch of other forms. I don't remember, dude. It lore, but Hydronoid, as he levels up, he gets more heads. So the original fight in season 1 was Draconoid versus Hydronoid, and Hydronoid just had the 1 head, right? But he has a form called Dual Hydronoid, where he gets 2.
Yes.
And also he gets, I think, like wings in that one too. So technically, the first one isn't a dragon v dragon fight, but the second one is. If you want to consider the 2-headed Hydra a dragon.
First of all, back to the...
fictitious depictions.
Yeah.
He could be a dragon. He's technically called Hydronoid and not...
If you call it a dragon, it's a dragon.
It's a dragon.
So
it has wings. I mean, fuck. It could be a dragon even without wings.
That's right.
That's what it was. So,
I don't know.
I
I think with the way we perceive it, I don't think we would call base Hydronoid a dragon.
I would.
No.
He doesn't have wings.
It doesn't matter.
He's essentially a carnivorous brontosaurus with scales.
You're a
I am a stegosaurus.
I am a stegosaurus.
But he's a stegosaurus that sends you to the Doom Dimension,
Listen,
which is just a shadow realm from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Listen, I think any expert on mythological creatures from the Middle Ages would call a Tyrannosaurus Rex a dragon.
I think that's what they did.
I don't know if they ever recovered skulls. I don't think they did, because Africa and the U.S. is where most of dinosaur bones are found.
Think about the scaled salamanders from Elden Ring. The, like, failed dragons. The people that attempted dragon communion and turned into, like, the ones that, like, slap around on the ground.
I'd consider those dragons, too.
The dragons in Elden Ring, funnily enough, would not consider those dragons. But they're also dragons, so...
That's fair. I guess when you're an ant, everything looks like a giant, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho, I didn't watch Bakugan, so was that fight hype?
Yes.
It went hard. I mean,
it really
Masquerade's like the main villain, and, they had to go through a tourney just to fight him.
Masquerades...
okay.
So it's like, think of it like, how do I put this? Like fucking Ash going through the Pokemon League to fight the champion of, like, the Kanto region, right? Think of it like that.
Okay.
That's how the Masquerade fight was, except Masquerade was like an actual villain.
And,
So, like, imagine if the Pokemon champion was also hell-bent on, like, controlling Pokemon and enslaving them.
Was it the first battle or the second battle when they sent Dan and Draconoid to the Doom Dimension?
Pretty sure it was the first to teach a lesson.
Yeah.
Fuck you, kid. You don't know what you're
Because,
getting yourself into, bro.
Because...
Literally going to the Shadow Dimension. That's what happens when you
Masquerade
give
had a
teenagers
card.
access to
It
cataclysmic
was called
powers.
the Doom card.
Okay.
Where literally anything that died during the... it's like a pink slip at a car race. But instead of you gaining the card... or the creature, it just gets sent to the death realm.
Gets sucked
and
into the dark,
It's like a
puckered
Nuzlocke,
hole.
actually. Better example. Nuzlocke. If it dies, it dies.
Huh.
No getting it back.
That's cool. That's cool. That's a good way to hate a villain, too, because if it got rid of a bunch of characters that you like...
Yeah, because how they
Oh,
originally
no.
set up Masquerade is they first show up with the Doom card, and it's just like... I think he goes against, like, this kid, and this kid's really endearing, but he loses all of his Bakugan into the Doom Dimension by this asshole with Hydronoid.
Dude, I'm pretty sure I met Masquerade in real life as a kid, because I'd play at church, like church camp, and there was this one other kid that also played Bakugan, but he had a stipulation where to play against him, you had to, like, essentially bet, like, a Bakugan.
Oh, you played for keeps.
Yeah. And he kept just stealing my Bakugan because I was like 7 and he was like 13.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
He was just literally taken advantage of it. And I was like, oh, this is such a cool game. I get the cool little monsters. And swipe.
Dude. So to go off on a side tangent, Trevor, you remember Preyas.
Oh,
weird-
the Aquarius one,
Yeah.
the blue one.
and
he
how
looked
he
like
had
a fish
his,
dude.
his evolved form that had the two sides.
Yeah, Diablo and
I
Angelo.
had an original Aquarius dual-sided one like that,
That goes hard.
and I
one's
lost
cool.
it.
Oh my
I
god.
hate myself
What
for
the-
losing
what
that.
the
It was
Sigma?
literally the coolest
That
one.
was the shit.
That was the shit, and I got it from a trade.
You know
a very
what?
shrewd
You know what
trade.
was the shit?
What?
I got something to show you on the after show. Okay. You remember
I
Naga?
don't want to see your dick again.
Ah, it's my best Bakugan. I roll it out plap. It's like a Subterra.
He does want to drag these nuts.
Yeah, I want to drag these nuts across the way.
We brought it back.
I got an original colorless Naga. I got the colorless Naga because there, Naga,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
in the lore,
yeah.
like he's like, think of like Ugin in the Blind Eternities.
Right.
He's like Naga is like the evil version of Ugin.
Mm-hmm.
Not Nicol Bolas, because he can like traverse dimensions and he's like weird and cryptic. So he's the guy that's actually communicating with Masquerade to send Pokemon to the Doom Dimension so he can slaughter them and gain their
Wait, there
power.
are Pokemon in the Bakugan?
My bad,
library?
Bakugan. Sorry. Memories are flooding back. At the start of the series, they show Naga in like a blood-stained landscape. And like there's just dead Bakugan everywhere, and there's like an altar that gains the power from all of them, and he has Masquerade send them to the Doom Dimension so he could gain power and, become god of Bakugan. Yeah. There was like real-life versions of him, but apparently they were really rare, and the rarest one was the colorless one, because all the Bakugan have like a subtype. So like, Pyra, I think it's called Pyra, which is like fire or red.
Pyra, Subterra,
Aquarius, I think,
Aquarius,
something like that. Aquarius.
Eros?
Ventus, which was the air one. Subterra, Chaos, and Darkus.
Fucking Darkus.
I feel like a fucking nerd right now. I should
We-
get
we've-
shoved in a
we've gone
locker
off.
and spat on.
We've gone off on such a side tangent. Tommy,
Bites
your
lip.
favorite dragon.
Oh, okay.
It's also Dragonoid.
I didn't play
So
Bakugan.
epic.
I didn't play
But your
Bakugan.
favorite dragon.
Okay, so following the pattern, it's fights and then depiction.
Yes.
Or is it depiction then fights?
Favorite dragon, then fight.
Okay. My favorite dragon that's ever been depicted was done by the man, the myth, the legend, if you know anything about me, Tolkien.
Tolkien, of course.
Smaug from The Hobbit is this huge red dragon with a belly made of gold plates that he melted on there.
Drip.
Bro, he's Drip the dragon.
I like my dragon's drippy.
He
bro.
has a...
I'm sorry to do that. To you.
No, you're
I
good.
like my dragon's drippy, bro.
Oh, boy. He has... Ah, man. He's so cool. He has a bragging contest with Bilbo. Where he, like, compares features of himself to, like, implements of war. And he calls his tail, like, a thunderbolt and shit like that. There's a scene described in the book where he flies down and he destroys a village. And it is just the most terrifying and quintessentially dragon thing I've ever read, seen,
It's just
or
depicted
even heard
perfectly,
about.
dude.
It is exactly what a dragon should
The
be.
most dragon of all dragons.
If there had to be one, if every depiction of a dragon got deleted from anyone's memory and from all media, and we had to start reconstructing the idea of dragonhood back into the human consciousness, and I got to pick one dragon to do that with,
It would be Smaug.
it would be Smaug. Smaug is
Can't even fight this point, dude.
Smaug is
Dragon.
he's like the quintessential greedy dragon sitting on a hoard of gold that's incredibly cunning, supernaturally like able to count his hoard.
Every little coin, despite him being the size of a mountain.
Yeah, and like he's killed by like just a dude who happens to get lucky, which is kind of inspirational when you think about it, but also just really neat. Like, Smaug is so perfect as a dragon. I could honestly gush about it for an entire episode of the podcast.
Foreshadowing.
Maybe. Maybe we'll do a Smaug episode. It could be on the day global warming kills us, and then the name would be
It'd
topical.
be funny.
And so then, what's your favorite battle?
My
Does it include Smaug?
It does not. It does not. Mostly because in the animated show, in the animated Hobbit special, they couldn't animate well enough for the Smaug fight to be very fun or convincing. And in the Hobbit movies, it's way too overcomplicated with things like fake out gold statues and them having an arrow, which is his kryptonite for
the
some
black
reason.
arrow.
And they just added a bunch of really convoluted things that made him less terrifying in general.
Right.
So no. And oddly enough, the best dragon fight isn't from any media that you'd watch or read. It's in fact from a video game. I think the best dragon fight happens in Dragon Age Origins, which
It's a reference.
that game gets joked about a lot because for being called Dragon Age, there's very few dragons in it. And they're all kind of like optional endgame bosses that you fight optionally at the end of the game because it's the only time your characters are physically capable
Kind of like
of
the
it.
Valkyries from like God of War.
Kind of, but they all have story reasons for being there as
Right.
opposed to the Valkyries, which are kind of just
being there.
hard bosses that exist for sake of hard bosses. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've gone through and I killed all the dragons, but the best one happens when you're going for this thing called the Urn of Sacred Ashes, which is essentially the Holy Grail, but in the Dragon Age universe. There's a dragon at the top of the mountain that the people who live in the mountain worship, like it's a god. If you kill the cult leader and blow the horn he drops, the dragon will swoop down and attack your group.
Oh.
And you can do this quest pretty early in the game, so you'll think, oh,
The suicide horn.
oh, I can deal with this dragon. Let me just blow the horn real fast. Fight this optional boss, get some loot, right?
Don't toot the horn. Fool. Dr. Doom toots his horn when he pleases.
Bro is hard.
You know how in Skyrim there are like cutscene kills where
Yeah.
it'll go in and like pull out into like third person view. There'll be like a sword drawing sound effect from in the thick of it. And you'll just
my
like
God.
behead someone or like
no,
hit them
no
over the head a bunch
reference.
of times. Enemies in Dragon Age Origins can cutscene kill you.
Heck yeah.
And this dragon has an ability where it will just like randomly lunge at one of your party members, sometimes from across the map,
Uh-huh.
pick your party member up, and just eat it. And there's no corpse, so any healers you have that could just be
can't
like,
do anything.
come back, it's just gone.
Bro, no stats either. Nothing matters. Bro, just... He literally shoe nices them.
I think you, first of all, it's a she
Reference.
because you kill her kids.
She shoe nices them.
And second of all, I think if you don't get one-shotted by the attack, it doesn't cutscene kill you.
I see.
So, like, higher level parties won't deal with that. But if you're just like, oh, I can probably fight this dragon, why would the devs put it here if I couldn't? And you blow the horn, and this fucking endgame boss just swoops down and nukes you. It's such a terrifying and adrenaline-filled moment. It's gonna be in my brain forever.
That sounds pretty epic. Makes me kind of want to actually play Origins.
You totally should. It's a lot less cryptic than Baldur's Gate 2, but it does have the same pause command style combat.
No biggie.
We have one last topic. Spence,
So-
would you like to lead us in our last topic?
It would be my pleasure. So, picture this as a thought experiment. Okay? We are all aware of 5-hour energies, right? The little
Yes.
energy shots. whatnot.
I've never indulged because I'm so addicted to coffee. I feel like it would be bad for my health.
It would be. They're really horrible for you.
But
I've
I
never
know
had
they
one.
exist.
Ever.
Anyway, but you get the preference. So, there's 5 hours of energy in one little bottle. Okay? And as we know, there's only 24 hours in a day. So, the question is, if you were to, say, consume 5 of these,
You would go into cardiac arrest.
but prior to that, you would be able to access the 25th hour of the day.
You're dead by hour 2.
I have a question, Spence.
Yeah?
Does this stack? If I drink 6 of them, do I have a 30-hour day?
No.
So you
only-
you die.
It only works with 5.
It only works with
The max is 5.
So if I drink 6, I just have 30 hours of energy, but the day is normal.
Yes.
And if I drink 5, the day has an extra hour.
Yes.
Is it just like I become slightly a speedster, so my perception of time
Yes.
is I have an extra hour and 24 hours pass?
Yes.
I would assume.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're
You're able
chasing
to-
the time zones. But I guess you'd have enough energy to run that fast.
So,
Think
you're,
about it.
So the question is,
so you're thinking 1/24th faster than before.
yes.
Yes, which doesn't seem like it'd be that noticeable of a buff, but maybe it is.
Maybe it is.
What would you do with the extra hour?
I mean, it's 1 extra hour.
I know, but it's 1 extra hour of unattainable time.
Well, in this situation, we're looking at it like you just move through 24 hours with slightly more efficiency to the point where you gain an extra hour worth of efficiency, but,
say-
the hour isn't exactly created.
But say that this is instead
You
of
managed
just
to
you
output an
being
extra
faster,
hour worth of
this
thought
literally
and ability.
grants you access to the mythical 25th hour of the day.
Okay.
No
Okay.
one else has access to it. So here, let me preface
Hear me
this.
out. As a writer and storyteller, I can tell you whatever the preface is, I would just use it for like Dungeon Master prep or to work on my novel. That's it. It's boring, but that's what I got.
You have access to this 1 hour of a day. No one else has access to. You can't even talk to anybody. It is your own hour.
I'd
What would you do with it?
I'd probably just go outside to a bench out in the park and just enjoy the silence and the peace
And then
and quiet.
die of cardiac arrest.
Yes. Like, what else am I supposed to do, dog? Hell, it might not be very good for you. You're prepping when you know you're gonna die after that hour.
Listen, man.
I'm gonna be sitting there pulling an old cap like, no, I don't think I will.
See, you have access to the legendary 25th hour of the day, but the downside is you die afterwards.
I mean, I don't know. I guess spend the time writing a goodbye letter to my loved ones. Maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I wouldn't indulge in 5 of these if I was guaranteed to die.
I guess I would just, if I get that hour and I'm guaranteed to die at the end of it, then I'm just gonna try and do as much stuff on my bucket list as possible.
That's a good call. That's
Like,
a good call.
If everything is frozen, dude, I could just, and I could just do whatever.
Yeah. Hear me out. If a doctor ever
go to the
tells
pyramids
me
and
I
eat
have
one of the breaks.
24 hours to live, I'll drink 5 of them and I'll write about my experience in the 25th hour.
Okay.
There you go. That would go in the history books, probably.
I don't think it would.
The man who entered the 25th hour.
Everyone's like, bro, that was just the next hour of the next day. You dumbass.
Bro, that was just
That was just 1 a.m.
I kind of want to write a book now called Letters from the 25th Hour, and it's just like shower thoughts I have while I can't sleep at night.
Wrapping around to the start of this year, do you eat the 4th Hot Pocket in the 25th hour?
Oh, man.
This year, that was like from 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was 22, bud.
See, I've been consuming so many
Dingus.
5-hour energies that I've been moving that fast.
I see. I
Wait,
understand.
but by your own admission, you have never had one.
No.
I'm treating it as a really long year.
No, the idea behind the 4th Hot Pocket, Trevor, was not that you're eating it when you're in bed. It's that, like,
You're eating it out of desperation
because you're really hungry
and
at
nothing's
work.
left.
Yeah.
I'd spend the last hour eating the 4th Hot Pocket.
That's actually really profound. You'd spend the last hour being just gluttonous enough for it to not be enjoyable to experience life anymore. And then you die. So you die at a point where you're done with life.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I guess that's
Well,
fitting.
I mean, at this point, you're
Depressing,
taking
but fitting.
cyanide with a small upside.
Yeah,
I'm going to
that's
make
fair.
a statement out of it.
I don't know. Letters from the 25th Hour goes hard as fuck.
That
does.
that
It's
goes
titled
like
That is-
from a
fucking
book.
that is
hard
an
as
epic title.
as a letter, as like a title of a book.
Yeah, maybe I should start writing my shower thoughts down when I wake up and can't go back to sleep in the middle of the night.
Don't worry, I
would
got
get
you
kinda hard.
one to start off with. Would you like to hear it?
Hit me.
So, the shower thought of the day, ladies and gentlemen, is: are the countries that use the imperial system the horny motherfuckers in chat because they use feet to measure?
Fellas, it's been a fantastic year.
I'm mockery. This is character.
Hell, we're all characters at this point.
We're all characters, and dragons are gonna eat us all.
Yeah. We'll see you
Some
all
people
in
are
the
into
new
that.
year.
Oh boy.
Get ready for 2025, baby.
Here's the
Oh, no.
2025,
Oh, my God.
and here's hoping that
Fuck
we...
the 25th hour. We're entering the 25th year. Well, with a 2 and a 0 before that.
Letters from the 25th year.
Letters from
That
the
doesn't-
25th year.
That doesn't have the same ring.
That just ain't it, Chief.
Anyway,
We'll see
you all
you
have a
in the
good
next
night.
year.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.